Namaste, Hamisha Kushrao Bitia. I am GVN Dr. Meenakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Today in this session, we will discuss the congenital and developmental cataracts uh, types. We are discussing the generalized cataract. Under the generalized cataracts, there are four types of cataract: the coronary cataract, blue dot cataract, total congenital cataract, and the congenital membranous cataract. So, we have already discussed the coronary cataract and the blue dot cataract under the generalized cataract of congenital and developmental cataracts. So, today we will discuss the third type of generalized cataract, which is the total congenital cataract. It is a common variety and may be unilateral or bilateral. In many cases, there may be hereditary character. Its other important cause is maternal rubella. It is a rubella cataract. The congenital rubella cataract. First is the maternal rubella infection acquires during the first trimester, second or third month may cause the rubella cataract. The rubella cataract typically the child is born with a pearly white nuclear cataract. It is a progressive type of cataract. The lens matter may remain soft or may even liquefy. It is called a congenital Morgagnian cataract. In the upper image, you can see the total congenital cataract. And the cataractous nucleus may harbor the virus up to 2 years of age. Therefore, the removal of such a cataract is usually followed by a severe inflammatory reaction, uveitis or even endophthalmitis, probably due to liberation of retained viruses. Note that the congenital rubella can be prevented by the vaccination of the mother since the rubella vaccine is toxic to fetus. It must therefore be administered at least 3 months before the pregnancy. The rubella syndrome. The congenital rubella cataract may occur alone or as a part of the classical rubella syndrome, which consists of the ocular defect, ear defect, and the heart defects. The ocular defects, the congenital cataract, salt and pepper chorioretinopathy, microphthalmos, cloudy cornea, and poorly dilated pupil. Under the ear defects, there may be deafness due to the destruction of organ of corti. And under heart defects, the patent ductus arteriosus, pulmonary stenosis, and ventricular septal defects may occur. Then the next type of generalized cataract under the category of congenital and developmental cataract is congenital membranous cataract. Sometimes there may occur total or partial absorption of congenital cataract, leaving behind this thin membranous cataract. Rarely there is complete disappearance of all the lens fibers and only a fine transparent lens capsule remains behind. Such a patient may be misdiagnosed as having congenital aphakia. This is associated with the Hallermann-Streiff-Francois syndrome. Then what is the differential diagnosis? The congenital cataracts presenting with leukocoria need to be differentiated from various other conditions presenting with leukocoria such as retinoblastoma, retinopathy of prematurity, persistent hyperplastic primary vitreous, PHPV, etc. Then the management of congenital and developmental cataract. Clinical investigation workup. A detailed clinical investigation workup is most essential in the management of pediatric cataract. It should aim at knowing the prognostic factors and indications and timing of surgery. The first point under the clinical investigation workup is ocular examination. The second one is the laboratory investigations. And the ocular examination should be carried out with special reference to density and morphology of cataract, assessment of visual function, and the density and morphology of the cataract. Density is indicated by quality of red reflex seen on distant direct ophthalmoscopy before and after projection of pupil. Cataract morphology may suggest underlying cause. First is the assessment of visual function. It is difficult in infants and small children. An idea may be made from the density and morphology of the cataract by oblique illumination examination and fundus examination. Special tests like fixation reflex, forced choice preferential looking test, visually evoked potential VEP, optic kinetic nystagmus OKN, etc. also provide useful information. Then associated ocular defects which need to be noted include microphthalmos, glaucoma, PHPV, foveal hyperplasia, optic nerve hyperplasia, and rubella retinopathy. Then next clinical investigation workup is laboratory investigation. Laboratory investigations should be carried out to detect various systemic associations in non-hereditary cataracts. First is the intrauterine infections, where like toxoplasmosis, rubella, cytomegalovirus, and herpes virus by TOS test, galactosemia by urine test for reducing substances, red blood cell transferase, and galactokinase levels. The next is the Loeys syndrome by urine chromatography for amino acids. Next investigation is for hypoglycemia by blood sugar level. Then next is the hypocalcemia by serum calcium and phosphate levels and X-ray skull. Then under the management of congenital and developmental cataract, next is the prognostic factors. The prognostic factors which need to be noted are density of cataract, second thing is unilateral or bilateral cataract, and third is the time of presentation, fourth is associated ocular defects, and fifth is the associated systemic defects. Then what are the indications and timing of pediatric cataract surgery? Partial cataracts and small central cataracts, which are visually insignificant, can safely be ignored and observed or may need non-surgical treatment with pupillary dilatation. The bilateral dense cataracts should be removed early, means within 6 weeks of birth, to prevent stimulus deprivation and amblyopia. Second eye should be operated within a few days of the first eye. And the unilateral dense cataract should preferably be removed as early as possible within days after birth, with optical correction in the first few weeks. However, it must be borne in mind that visual prognosis in most of the unilateral cases is very poor even after timely operation, because correction of aphakia and prevention of amblyopia in infants is an uphill task. Then what are the surgical procedures for congenital and developmental cataract? The childhood cataracts like congenital, developmental as well as acquired can be dealt with extracapsular cataract extraction technique involving the anterior capsular helix and irrigation aspiration of the lens matter, which is called the lens aspiration or lensectomy. Lens aspiration can be performed either by manual SICS technique or by phacoemulsification technique. Lens aspiration should be combined with primary posterior capsulotomy in children below 6 years of age, and also with anterior vitrectomy in all children below 2 years of age. The needling operation which was performed in the past is now obsolete and because of the high rates of complications. Then the correction of pediatric aphakia. It is an unsolved query. Presently, common views are as follows. Children above the 2 years can be corrected by implantation of posterior chamber intraocular lens during surgery. And children below the age of 2 years should preferably be treated by extended wear contact lens. Spectacles can be prescribed in bilateral cases. Later on, secondary intraocular lens implantation may be considered. Note that the present trend is to do primary implantation at the earliest possible, especially in unilateral cataract. That is in all cases because most surgeons have reported negative experiences in the compliance with glasses and contact lenses. Then pediatric intraocular lens, the size, design and power. The main concerns regarding the use of intraocular lens in children are the growth of the eye, intraocular lens power considerations, increased uveal reaction, and long-term safety. The present recommendations are the size of intraocular lens above the age of 2 years may be standard 12 to 12.75 millimeter diameter for in the bag implantation. Design of intraocular lens of choice at present is foldable intraocular lens made of hydrophobic acrylic material. Previously, one-piece PMMA IOL with modified C-shaped haptics were recommended. However, PMMA IOLs are no more recommended because of the disadvantages of a bigger incision. The capsular and inflammatory responses remain a problem in children. Then the power of intraocular lens. Most surgeons target emmetropia in older children more than 8 years. In children between 2 to 8 years of age, 10% under correction and below 2 years and under correction by 20% is recommended from the calculated biometric power to counter the myopic shift. Then the correction of amblyopia. In the central theme around which management of childhood cataract and aphakia resolves. In spite of best efforts, it continues to be the main cause of ultimate low vision in these children. So our session completes here. Thank you so much. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you're satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.